certainly is obvious, George, that from that reception, I mean, that besides being an all-around favorite, you've really become a teenager's idol.
Well, they've really been great to me, Steve. I only hope they know how very much I appreciate it.
I'm sure they do. You know, George and I were talking earlier today about the current generation of teenagers and especially about all the publicity the age group is getting these days. And George brought up one subject which has been virtually overlooked in all that's been said and written about the youngsters, and that is the teenage sense of humor.
Yeah, that's right, Steve. Teenagers of this generation, in fact, of every generation, have always come up with very fresh approaches to comedy. Oh, back around 1933, 34, they invented those little moron jokes and the little Audrey stories.
Sure. Remember those old jokes? There's one I remember, the story about little Audrey. Little Audrey jumped off the Empire State Building. Well, she just laughed and laughed because she knew she was wearing her light fall suit. Do you remember that one? They laughed at that at one time.
Remember about the one about the little moron who went to bed with a ruler because he wanted to see how long he could sleep?
Yes, I do. And then along about 1936, the teenagers hipped up a little bit, and they started a craze that really swept the country. It's called Knock Knock. You remember that?
Oh, sure. Here's one. Knock Knock.
Who's there?
Oliver.
Oliver who?
All of her friends are talking about her.
Yes. We used to call those groaners, too. I got another one for you. Knock, knock.
Now, who's there?
Boo.
Boo? Boo who?
What are you crying for, George? That's a sneaky one.
How about those Confucius Say gags? They were a big thing around 1938.
That's right, just about then. There were some pretty good ones in that group. I remember one, Confucius Say, aviator who not pull ripcord on parachute, jump to conclusion.
Yeah, how about the one, Confucius Say, cat who eat cheese, have bated breath.
Yeah, there you go. And then in the 40s, they had another one.
That was, what, the handies, yeah. Look, you know this one?
A handy. Let me see.
What's that?
I give up. What is that?
Well, that is a spider doing push-ups on a mirror.
Remember this one? This was very popular. Let's see, something like this.
That beats me. What is that?
That's a Cadillac making a right-hand turn.
Yeah, and then today's teenagers have come up with the facies.
Facies.
Yeah, facies. Now, here's one. Anybody seen the butter knife, huh?
I think in one of the national magazines there was a story about that. Well, the teenagers have always been creative, and that proves it. But the youngsters of today have actually become a power to be reckoned with in another way, too.
Yeah, that's right. Just a look at the lists of the top popular songs today proves it. Mm-hmm. Most of today's songwriters seem to be tailoring themselves to the teenage market.
That's right. They have a lot of song hits like Young Love and Going Steady and Teenagers Romance, all bestsellers.
Yeah, but Steve, this one makes me sort of wonder just where this trend is taking us. Love will make you fail in school.
That's what they do, too. This is no gag. They're really putting this thing out. Well, George and I made a little survey to see how far this teenage song trend is going, and we got a list together of some of the songs that you might get to hear next year. So, do you have the list there, George?
Right here.
Some of next year's teenage hits. Just have one or two of them we'll try here. Let's see. This one goes, my heart goes beat, beat, beat when you cheat, cheat, cheat in the seat in front of me. Remember that begin?
Yeah, huh?
Let's see.
How's it go?
I remember how you held me on the day that they expelled me, the day that they bounced me out of school. Well, you know, a lot of the famous old songwriters, the really big fellas, are worried. They often put out protests about the way that the music business is going today. And I think maybe the solution is something George and I thought of just a couple of days ago, that they should take their old big standards and revamp them for the teenage market. Doesn't that sound like a good idea?
Sure.
So George and I, to sort of demonstrate what we're talking about, took an old tune, a great tune written by Burton Lane and Frank Lesser, and we rewrote it with teenage lyrics. And here's how it goes. You all set?
Yeah.
If she will willingly share her lock of Elvis's hair, that sweet teenager's in love with you. If you say let's rock and roll, but she says let's take a stroll, that teenage chick is in love with you.
And if you say let's file all the gang in that hot rod,
Yeah.
but she'd rather pedal a bike for two.
Well, sir, here's just how it stands. You've got romance on your hands. That teenage lady's in love with you. You want to play one?
Oh.
How about that? And if you offer a dinner of filet mignon,
But she says a frank and a malt will do.
yes, sir. Well, that is just how it stands. You've got romance on your hands. That pretty miss is in love with you. One more. Here we go. If she thinks Pat Boone's a square, with you he cannot compare.
That sweet teenager's in love with you. If you date once in a while, but going steady's your style, that little girl is in love with you.
And then if she has a chance to date Georgie Nader,
But she'd rather you took her to the zoo.
well, boy, here's just how it stands. You've got romance on your hands. I mean, there's nothing that you can do.